Hi, my name's James O'Brien from my intro, and I'm going to share with you what we believe is the right way to kick off a recruitment campaign. Great news, you've won an assignment and it's all about thinking about what am I going to do next. So after the elation comes the realization that you now need to deliver the campaign for your client. Now, if you're a contingent transactional recruiter, what you're going to do next is busily go to your database. You're going to review all the candidates that you have, you're going to send emails, you're going to make phone calls, and you're going to sort of follow through with those candidates and identify candidates who on paper at least are a great fit for the role. And then you're going to submit those CVs through to the client, and you're going to wait for the client to come back to you and say yes, they'd like to meet up with one of your candidates or multiple candidates, and hopefully get through the process. You get candidates to second interview stage, and then hopefully get a job offer. But we know that the reality of this situation is that you're only going to be successful at best 1 in 5 times. So what's a better way to look at offering a better service to your clients? How should you really go about undertaking a recruitment campaign on a more professional, more consultative basis? So what we do at iIntro is we help recruiters understand that there's a thorough process to commencing a campaign with a client to ensure that you get the best results, the best outcome for the client. What does that mean? Well, what it means is somebody who stays for the long term. A recruiter's job is just to place a candidate. If they leave after 6 months, 8 months, not really your problem. But as a recruitment partner, that should become your problem. So we're striving for success, which means people stay 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years and beyond. So to do that, we have to start a thorough process and detail it in the correct way. So rather than just busily going to your database to identify some CVs, let's look at the other things that we need to put in place to make sure that this recruitment campaign can be successful. So first off, one of the things that we do is we assess the role before we even think about finding the person. What does that mean in reality? Well, there are a couple of things that we talk about a lot, and that's actually utilising multiple layers of scientific and objective assessment in our process. And there are 2 key things I want to talk to you about today that we implement which help provide more information to help our clients make a more informed hiring decision. Actually, a more informed interviewing decision, because we don't want them wasting time interviewing candidates that look great on paper and then become a letdown at interview stage. So the first thing we do with clients is we actually ask them to undertake what we call a job survey. Now, what's a job survey? Because if you're not familiar with the terminology, a job survey is part of a behavioural assessment process that we utilise in our business. And what it does is it scientifically asks the client to think about the person they're thinking of hiring. Not their skills, knowledge and experience, but what are the behavioural traits of somebody to understand how they're going to fit in with the client. Because ultimately you find that if there's something wrong in a hiring position, it's not down to the fact that the candidate doesn't have the right skills and experience. It's because they don't fit in, or therefore are unable to perform in their duties despite the fact they have the skills. So undertaking an online assessment with a client means that very quickly, in as little as 5 to 10 minutes, and extremely accurately, we can get the client to inform us basically of the type of person they're looking for. So not just a good team player, not just somebody who's going to fit in, because it's a bit waffly really. We need to really get to the meat of it. So the job survey helps the client articulate those deeper thoughts. And what we do with the results from that is we share them back with the client. We make sure before we go and find the person, we've actually clearly identified and clearly understand what type of person is going to be successful based on the input of the client in that role. And so that job survey, scientifically, we can evidence that the person and the people we're going to shortlist for the client are actually matched on another level. Not do they just have the right skills, knowledge and experiences it says in the CV, but we've now started to get them closer matched to what the client has now told us they're looking for. That's a very different process to somebody just going out to find people with the right skills and experience or the right CVs. Now, one of the other things we can do, and it's something that many of you will be familiar with, is competency-based interviewing. Well, again, what does that mean? It's a very specific skill for many people that many people don't master, and certainly many clients, the employers doing the real interviewing questions, don't master as well. So what we'll do is we'll actually sit down with the client and say, what is it you'd like to know about the candidate, about how they will do the job on the role? And typically we'll say, would it help you to understand how a candidate might behave on the job before you hire them? And of course, the answer to that would be a resounding yes. So we sit down with a client and we've got a library of questions in various topical areas, or we can create bespoke questions that meet the client's needs. We agree then with the client, and then as part of our assessment process of the candidates, we ask the candidates to respond to those questions. Typically in writing, or it can even indeed be on video, depending on what the client's preference is. But now what we're doing is we're actually building layers of information to help the client make a more informed hiring decision. So the best way to start off a recruitment process is to get all of the information that you need up front before you go and find the candidates. Because once you've found the candidates, it's very difficult to break the emotional tie, because somebody can often look good on paper and be very persuasive at interview. Yet, if they're not the right match, they're not going to fit in with the client. And so what we help the client understand is do the homework at the beginning and it'll speed up the process later. And that way, you've kicked off the campaign, you've got a documented information that's going to help you make the right decision in terms of who you're going to put forward to interview, and you're going to help the client make a much more informed hiring decision. And that's the way that an iIntro recruiter will start to build their campaign. If you find that's helpful, please do get in touch with us and we'll share with you how we can help you.